she's very much like a housewife in that she can't stop talking about the very thing that she wants to be irrelevant.
Bethenny Frankel has something to say to Meghan Markle, her new competition in the podcast world. Now that's a joke. Apparently, there is so much audience in the podcast world that everyone and their kid can have a podcast.
People should expect the real me in this, and probably the me that they've never gotten to know, certainly not in the past few years.
Meghan launched her Archetypes podcast in the last week or so, and she was interviewed by The Cut, where she discussed her time in the royal family once again. And Bethenny thinks Meghan needs some new material.
When you leave the royal family, leave the royal family. It's behind you. You learned something, you said it, we heard the message, we got it. In every single interview you do, you are talking in some nuanced subtext or slightly direct way about the royal family. Let it go, Elsa.
And Bethenny is tired of Meghan and Harry being cryptic and withholding certain information, like who in the royal family questioned how dark their son Archie's skin color would be.
I think that would be very damaging to them.
That conversation I'm never going to share.
He did not share the identity with me, but he wanted to make sure that I knew, and if I had an opportunity to share it, that it was not his grandmother nor his grandfather.
At least say it. Rip the goddamn Band-Aid off. Come out, say it or don't, but like these nuanced, I want my privacy, but I want a podcast. I want my privacy, but I want a Netflix special.
Well, Meghan does seem to be using the podcast format to talk about herself.
Hey, it's me.
And the 35 years she has lived outside of the royal family, including being a big fan of Mariah Carey.
I go back to my 17-year-old self. I think people are going to be surprised at the moments that I become a complete fangirl.
I do agree with Bethenny here, even though that is Meghan's main selling point right now in terms of she's going to sell magazines, she's going to have listeners tune into a podcast, and she talks about the royal family. But I think she's said everything that needs to be said. I don't think she's left anything out at this point. But that being said, I'm not minimizing what Meghan has said. I mean, yeah, the things she said about the royal family have been absolutely awful, and the royal family have to make some changes. And I think it's going to be up to the British public to demand those changes. But yeah, I think Meghan has covered everything. So I do agree with the idea that I think she needs to close the chapter on the royal family and move on. What do you guys think?
Move forward, create change in the future, and leave that family behind because it's only creating more drama for your husband.